So Dan Patrick, one of sports media's most respected voices, just said what many have been thinking, but few have had the guts to say out loud. Angel Reese is flat out jealous of Caitlin Clark's impact on women's basketball, and boy did Patrick come with receipts. Hey, really have to do with Caitlin Clark. Now you might, if you stay long enough, maybe you'll see something or someone there you go, okay, I'm entertained by this. But there's nothing wrong with admitting that you watch a sport because of one singular person. People watch golf because of Tiger. Right? You tuned in, no matter what event Tiger was playing you were going to watch. On his nationally syndicated radio show, Patrick didn't mince words when discussing the dynamic between the WNBA's most talked about rookies. He laid it out plain and simple. I think Angel Reese is jealous of Caitlin Clark. She thinks she's the reason why this is all happening here. WNBA has been around a couple of decades. And people didn't notice the game. They're noticing it now. Well, that's because of Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese. Angel Reese has played a role in this, and she's a very good player. But there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch The timing couldn't be more perfect. Just as the WNBA is experiencing unprecedented growth in viewership, ticket sales, and media coverage, there's an ongoing battle over who deserves credit for this renaissance. In one corner stands Caitlin Clark, the record-breaking point guard whose no-look passes and logo three-pointers have amazed basketball fans across gender lines. In the other corner is Angel Reese, the rebounding machine who's built her brand on being women's basketball's self-proclaimed villain. Patrick zeroed in on something that's been bubbling beneath the surface of WNBA coverage, the stark contrast between how these two stars approached their newfound fame. Caitlin Clark was going to get eyeballs whether she played against Angel Reese and LSU or not. Patrick stated matter-of-factly, because we had not seen anything like this before. What makes Patrick's commentary so compelling is how he dissected Reese's post-game comments, where she's consistently tried to redirect the conversation about the WNBA's growth away from Clark and toward herself. After a recent sold-out game, Reese told reporters, "Basketball people are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold-out arenas just because of one single game." Then came the kicker that Patrick couldn't let slide. "I'll take that role, I'll take the bad guy role. I want y'all to realize that the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too." Patrick's not buying it, not one bit. WNBA has been around a couple of decades and people didn't notice the game. They're noticing it now, Patrick explained. Well, that's because of Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese. Ouch. That's gotta sting. But Patrick wasn't done there. He went on to deliver perhaps his most cutting assessment of Reese's game. Angel Reese has played a role in this, and she's a very good player, but there's nothing about her game that's really interesting that is going to translate to people who may not watch the WNBA, may not care about basketball. She is a social media star and she has capitalized on that. Double ouch. Let's be real here, the numbers don't lie. When Clark was drafted, ticket prices for Indiana Fever games skyrocketed by over 600% on the secondary market. The Fever's season ticket sales reportedly jumped 20-fold. Television ratings for WNBA games featuring Clark have doubled and sometimes tripled compared to last season's averages. But according to Patrick, Reese isn't just missing the point. She's deliberately trying to rewrite the narrative, and he thinks he knows exactly why. Angel Reese stays in the news if Caitlin Clark is there, Patrick explained. If Angel Reese was going into the WNBA and Caitlin Clark wasn't there, no one would care. She'd be like, oh, okay, that woman's really good on the offensive boards. I mean, that's really what she is. Triple ouch. Patrick's not holding back a single punch here. What makes this tension so fascinating is how it reflects larger questions about fame, recognition, and the changing face of women's sports. Patrick frames it as a classic case of someone whose fame comes from skill versus someone whose fame comes from cultivating a specific persona. Caitlin got all of this exposure. She's getting endorsements because she's unique. Patrick said, it's like Steph Curry is unique. Tiger Woods is unique. Not everybody gets it just because, hey, I put in 10 years in the WNBA or the PGA Tour or the NBA. It doesn't work that way. It's supply and demand. In Patrick's view, Reese has made a calculated business decision to position herself as the antagonist to Clark's protagonist. He even compared her to one of the NBA's most notorious villains. Angel Reese wants to be Draymond Green. She's more like Dylan Brooks. She's trying to be an instigator. She goes out of her way to criticize Caitlin Clark. The Draymond Green comparison is particularly telling. Green has built an entire brand around being the bad guy, the enforcer, the one who gets under opponents' skin. Patrick believes Reese is following the exact same playbook, with Clark as her primary target. As evidence, Patrick pointed to specific on-court incidents, including a play where Reese appeared to hit Clark in the head during what was supposedly a block attempt. "Yep, across the head," Patrick commented while watching the replay, "and they will go to the monitor to review this one." But Patrick's most damning evidence came when discussing Time magazine's decision to put Caitlin Clark on their cover, a major acknowledgement of her cultural impact. Rather than celebrate this milestone for women's basketball, Patrick noted how quickly the conversation shifted to why Reese wasn't featured alongside Clark. Someone complained, "Felt like if you're going to celebrate the WNBA, why not celebrate it with everybody in the WNBA, or some of the bigger stars and Caitlin Clark?" Patrick recounted incredulously, "But if you're Time's Person of the Year, it's not the People of the Year, it was a Person of the Year." The Washington Mystics owner Ted Leonsis even publicly questioned why the entire WNBA wasn't on the cover instead of just Clark. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said the WNBA is the League of the Year, because of all the talent that we have? Leonsis said, "Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings." To Patrick, these reactions proved his point about jealousy. The moment Clark received historic recognition, the narrative immediately shifted to diminish her singular impact. "It's like Caitlin Clark changed the WNBA, it's okay," Patrick said with exasperation. "Every time we think there's a win, there's somebody who brings something else up, and it's unfortunate." Patrick drew a powerful comparison. "It's like when Tiger joined the PGA Tour, did we say, 'Oh, Time's Man of the Year'? Well, you can't have Tiger on there, we have to have everybody on there." His point was clear. Sometimes one individual truly does transform an entire sport, and there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that reality. Patrick likened Clark's effect on women's basketball to Wayne Gretzky's impact on hockey when he joined the Los Angeles Kings, saying she had single-handedly elevated the entire WNBA's visibility and popularity. Caitlin Clark did for the WNBA what Wayne Gretzky did for the NHL when he went to the LA Kings. Patrick declared, "It's okay. Take a victory lap." The conflict Patrick identifies goes beyond simple professional rivalry. It touches on something more fundamental about how we recognize and celebrate athletic achievement. Clark's game speaks for itself. The no-look passes, the logo three-pointers, the court vision, the scoring records. Her basketball brilliance translates across gender lines, bringing in viewers who might never have watched women's basketball before. Reese, on the other hand, has built her platform through a carefully cultivated persona in this rivalry with Clark. She's undeniably talented. Her rebounding skills are elite, but Patrick suggests her path to fame requires different tactics than Clark's pure basketball appeal. Reese is the villain, Patrick noted. She understands social media, she's done quite well. She has cashed in, literally cashed it, but her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. The calculated nature of Reese's approach becomes even clearer in her post-game comments. After a recent game against Clark's Fever, Reese told reporters, "I think we were playing really hard. I think we went up really strong a lot of times and we didn't get a lot of calls. And going back at looking at the film, I've seen a lot of calls that weren't made. I guess some people get a special whistle." The special whistle comment, clearly aimed at Clark, fits perfectly into Patrick's theory about Reese deliberately stirring controversy to maintain relevance. It's a page straight out of the Draymond Green playbook. Say something provocative, dominate the next day's headlines, rinse and repeat. This strategy isn't without its benefits. Embracing the villain role has made Reese more marketable than many players with similar or better statistics. Her willingness to be the heel has already paid dividends in endorsement deals and media opportunities. By positioning herself as the antagonist to Clark's protagonist, she guarantees herself a place in every conversation about women's basketball's rising star. But Patrick suggests there's a cost to this approach. By focusing so heavily on manufactured drama, Reese risks overshadowing her genuine athletic accomplishments. Just as Green's technical fouls and suspensions sometimes eclipse discussions of his defensive brilliance, Reese's antagonistic approach may divert focus from her impressive rebounding skills and scoring ability. The irony, of course, is that Reese has benefited enormously from Clark's entry into the WNBA. The increased attention on women's basketball has created more opportunities for all players, including Reese. Her social media following has grown, her endorsement opportunities have multiplied, and her games are being watched by more people than ever before. Yet according to Patrick, she seems unwilling to acknowledge Clark's role in creating this new landscape. Instead, she positions herself as an equal contributor to the WNBA's surge in popularity, despite the evidence suggesting otherwise. "I do think that she's benefited. The WNBA has benefited from Caitlin Clark and the publicity," Patrick said. "She's the one who has to answer these questions, though, after games." What makes this dynamic particularly fascinating is how it reflects broader cultural conversations about recognition and credit. In any field, when someone achieves unprecedented success, there's often a tension between celebrating that individual's unique contribution and acknowledging the collective effort that surrounds them. Clark herself has consistently deflected personal praise to highlight her teammates and the league as a whole. After breaking the WNBA's single-game rookie assist record, she immediately credited her teammates for making shots. When asked about her impact on attendance, she praised the league's overall growth rather than claiming personal credit. This approach stands in stark contrast to Reese's more direct assertions about her own impact. After the Time magazine cover controversy, Reese posted on social media, "The reason women's basketball is growing is because of women basketball players, the ones who came before us and the ones who are here now." On its face, this statement is undeniably true. Women's basketball has been built by generations of talented players who competed with little recognition or financial reward. But Patrick's critique isn't about denying that history, it's about recognizing that sometimes a single player can catalyze growth in ways that transform an entire sport. It's okay to say that. Patrick insisted, "You're not diminishing what the founding fathers of the WNBA did. She's the Time Person of the Year. That's all." The league won. The tension between Reese and Clark reflects something deeper about how we view success in sports and beyond. Is it more admirable to let your work speak for itself, or to aggressively advocate for your own recognition? Is there more value in being universally liked, or in being provocative enough to stay consistently in the conversation? There's no single right answer to these questions, and both approaches can lead to success. Michael Jordan and Larry Bird were notorious trash talkers who embraced conflict, while Tim Duncan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar let their play do the talking. All four became legends in their own way. What Patrick objects to isn't Reese's decision to embrace the villain role. That's a legitimate career choice. It's her apparent unwillingness to acknowledge the reality of Clark's unique impact on the WNBA's current boom. Make no mistake about it, Patrick said firmly. Caitlin Clark is the reason why everybody has an opinion on what happened in that game. The numbers certainly support Patrick's assessment. Before Clark's arrival, the WNBA struggled to attract mainstream attention despite featuring exceptional talent. The average WNBA game in 2023 drew about 6,615 Indiana Fever games with Clark are now routinely selling out 17,000-seat arenas, and road games featuring Clark have seen similar spikes in attendance. Television ratings tell the same story. The 2023 WNBA draft, where Aaliyah Boston was selected first overall, averaged 403,000 viewers. The 2024 draft, headlined by Clark, drew 2.45 million viewers, a staggering 511% increase. Regular season games featuring Clark have doubled or tripled last year's viewership figures. Merchandise sales have exploded as well. Clark's Indiana Fever jersey became the WNBA's top-selling jersey before she even played her first professional game. The league reported a 400% increase in merchandise sales compared to the previous season. These numbers don't diminish Reese's popularity or talent. Her Chicago Sky jersey ranks among the league's best sellers, and she's cultivated a massive social media following. But the scale of Clark's impact on the WNBA's overall business metrics is simply unprecedented. Patrick's criticism touches on something fundamental about sports stardom. Some athletes transcend their sport in ways that others, even very good ones, simply don't. Tiger Woods did it for golf. Serena Williams did it for tennis, and now Clark appears to be doing it for women's basketball. This is a unique moment, Patrick emphasized. Caitlin Clark did for the WNBA what Wayne Gretzky did for the NHL. The Gretzky comparison is particularly apparent. When the Great One was traded to the Los Angeles Kings in 1988, he single-handedly transformed hockey's popularity in the United States. NHL attendance surged, television ratings increased, and expansion teams soon appeared in non-traditional hockey markets like San Jose, Anaheim and Florida. Gretzky didn't achieve this by being the only good hockey player. The NHL was full of talented athletes. He achieved it by playing the game with such transcendent skill and creativity that he attracted viewers who had never before cared about hockey. That's the phenomenon Patrick sees with Clark, a player whose unique abilities are bringing new audiences to women's basketball. It's not about diminishing other players' contributions, it's about recognizing the reality of one player's singular impact. The eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark, Patrick concluded. What makes this conflict particularly unnecessary, in Patrick's view, is that everyone in the WNBA stands to benefit from Clark's popularity. Rising television ratings mean more lucrative broadcast deals. Increased attendance means more revenue for teams. Greater cultural relevance means more sponsorship opportunities for all players. In business terms, Clark isn't taking a bigger slice of an existing pie, she's making the entire pie larger. That's why Patrick finds the apparent jealousy so frustrating. It transforms what should be a collective victory into an unnecessary competition. Gerald Miller, or Cynthia Cooper, like it's a win. Patrick said, "We gotta go. This is a unique moment. The reference to WNBA legends like Cooper highlights another dimension of this conflict. Some have framed the focus on Clark as disrespectful to the pioneers who built women's basketball with far less recognition or financial reward. But Patrick rejects this framing, arguing that celebrating Clark's impact doesn't diminish earlier contributions.